Hello, everyone, and my name is Sarah Elizabeth, and welcome to another episode of Big Money MLM. And I'm really excited today because we actually have a really special guest. Her name is Janine Latula, and she is a mom of 7. She's a six-figure income earner. She loves helping people use online events to maximize their brand and double their sales. And she actually leads a team of over 100 women and has been featured on Country Living magazine. So, Janine, welcome. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to share today. I just love this stuff. It's so fun.
Now, I do have a few questions for you. So, just kind of like the basics. Like, what's your story? What got you into the network marketing and the MLM space?
Oh, that's a funny story because my husband, he had a product. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. He had a product and he wanted to sell it online. And he was like, you need to figure it out. I was like, okay. So I bought Blogging for Dummies, and I thought that was the way to go. And I actually went the blogging route, and I started a blog. But I realized that it was really hard to sell your own product. And especially when you make your own product, a lot of times you don't know what your customer wants. You kind of are just stuck in your own space, and you kind of think, oh, this is what I would like. And so it's not necessarily the finished product. And so you're having to test it and all these different things. It takes a long time to get a good product, right?
Yeah, there's a
So,
lot of testing involved, definitely.
yeah. So while I was blogging, I was affiliates for other people. So I was selling other people's products. And as, in our daily life, all the time, we're always selling, right? We're selling our husband on, hey, can we buy this?
Totally. My mom sold me on vegetables my whole life.
Right, exactly. So I had to pick a product that was really going to align with my life and my interests. And I just, the opportunity just came along. And I've done MLM in the past, okay, one other time. And I was really gung ho about it and everything, but I talked to everyone that I knew, and I didn't have that big of a circle because I wasn't on social media. I wasn't on the internet or anything like that. So now that I was kind of introduced to this side, the online side, I was so excited because I had all these new people to talk to, right? Had a bigger network. And even though my network wasn't that big, it was exciting for me. So I jumped on the opportunity, and I started to develop a way to reach my customers. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But it was just the product really fit into my life, one. And then two, they had so many different choices that it was so nice to be able to say, oh, you like this? I will connect you with this product. Or you like this? I like, so there were so many choices for people. And that really helped too.
That's all you're chilling. I like that because you're the person who's trying to help get them the best product for your customers. It's just not about trying to sell them everything that you could possibly sell them. It's like, hey, let me hear your story. What are you looking for? And let me send you in the direction of what product is going to be the best for you.
Right. What's going to help you the most? What's going to give you the best results? All that stuff.
Because a lot of people have the mindset of, oh, I want to sell them as many products as possible. Oh, you could get this. Oh, you could get this. But you could get this and this and this. It's like, wait a second. Let's just focus on getting the right product to them first and building that relationship with them so they can trust you. And it's a healthy relationship. And then the other sales will naturally come just because they trust you.
Right. Exactly.
Now, Janine, what was that moment? Because a lot of us, we start off these MLMs as like a hobby, just playing around and learning. Now, what was that thing that really took it from a hobby to a career? What was that thing that flipped the switch?
Right. So I had a goal in mind when I joined. So I think it was right away that I was kind of wanting something in my life. And so I had that goal. And I wanted to hit that goal so bad. So in the beginning, when I joined, I ran. I just
started off running.
Yes, I started off running. And I know they tell you to do this, but it really, really works because you have the most motivation, you have the most energy, you have the most excitement. And so, yes, as I told my husband, I'm like, if we make $1,000 a month, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I ran and ran and ran and ran until I hit that. And when I hit that, I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. You know what I mean? And so that made me run even more. I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
have to do more. You know what I mean? So definitely, make a goal and then work with the people who you've joined their team or whatever, and work to really hit that goal as fast as you can.
You reached the comma club is what we like to call it. And that's super exciting. And once we do hit those goals and we reach those goals, it's like it reignites all the excitement again. And instead of getting tired, you're like, oh, maybe I'll just take a break. You're like, no, I'm just gonna go harder and I'm gonna go faster at this thing because I want it more than ever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, another question I have for you is what makes you unique? What makes you different from the other distributors or affiliates in the company that you're with? And what are you offering that others aren't?
This is really exciting because I think a lot of people get in the comparison game. I
Mm-hmm.
know I do sometimes, and I have to talk myself out of it, right?
Totally.
So I believe that everyone has a unique story. And so you already have something unique about you as long as you're sharing that story. And sometimes you have to get over that fear of sharing your life and sharing your thoughts. And, a lot of people, they think I have to be successful in order to have a following, or I have to be successful to get more success. But really, people love to hear the journey
Mm-hmm.
because they are not there yet and they want to know what it takes. So you have a unique story and you're going to connect with unique people, right? You're going to connect with people who resonate with that story. I'm not going to connect with the same people as you do,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's really exciting for everyone that they have a unique story, but they have to share it.
Yeah.
And that can kind of be a barrier for people because they're
Totally.
nervous about what people will think about them. And so it makes the butterflies come, but that is going to be what sets you apart, is
Mm-hmm.
sharing your story and stuff like that. So that, I would say, would be number one. The second thing, I believe, is being able to think outside the box and use all the tools available to you. So I don't just think of my business as part of the company.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of take it out of that and say, this is my own business and I really own it. And I
Mm-hmm.
say, if I were to have this business as a brick and mortar, what would I do? And I act like that. And so I creatively come up with these things and implement them and try them out so that it does set me apart and I distinguish myself outside of the company. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just, whatever
That,
the company's name is. I'm not just a consultant or a rep for them.
mm-hmm.
I am my own business.
And that's a
And so
huge in itself. That's a huge takeaway because so many people I know just either, like I said, use it as a hobby, or they think of themselves as an affiliate as like, oh, I'm just kind of like a rep for this company. It's like, no, like you have to, like, you're the business owner. You have to act as if you are the business owner. What if this is the product that you created? How would you grow your company? Like, we have to think of
right,
it as this is our baby and this we're going to grow it. And people who think that way, their mindset changes, and like you said, it gets you thinking outside of the box and really helps you
exactly.
grow your business a lot faster and really take it seriously.
Absolutely. And so yes, absolutely. And when you do that, I really think the creativity
Mm-hmm.
doesn't just give you an edge and set you apart, but it also makes it more fun.
Oh,
It
totally.
makes it more enjoyable.
You
And
get room to
instead of
play around and just kind of figure things out and bring your own uniqueness to it.
absolutely, being creative is so much fun, and it gives life to your business. If you're feeling in a rut,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you need the creativity the most. That's when you need to be brainstorming. You need to be asking outside voices, coming and listening to podcasts and things like that to get those creative juices flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then just do it. Don't even think about it. If you get a really good idea, you say, that's a good idea, try it. If it fails, that's okay, because you'll constantly learn from it. And then what do you have to lose? What if it does work?
Correct.
And it gives you that edge and it takes you to the next level. So definitely.
Something I noticed that when you said that is like I have a feeling some people have this thought of like, what if it does succeed? And I think people do fear that. Like, oh my gosh, what if I am successful? Like, that's terrifying, you know? And it sounds so silly, but you're like, you know, like, what happens if I fail? It's like, oh, okay, you fail. It's like, but what happens if you succeed? You're like, oh my God, if I succeed, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And that could also be
I see that fear. I do.
It seems silly, but it's like a fear people have of just being successful.
Absolutely. I think that everyone fears that. Even people at the top, you know, they fear that as well. They have those same butterflies.
Oh, totally. And the funny thing is like, a lot of people think that the people at the top of the company like don't have these fears anymore. Like, they're completely fearless. They're just go-getters, just do whatever it takes. And they do whatever it takes, but they're not fearless. Like, they do have fears too, and some of them are the same as people who are just joining. They just got over their fears, or just did it in spite of their fears and just did it anyway.
Yeah, and not only that, I also think it's great to think of the pains that you're going through if you don't hit your goals, if you don't succeed. So what are those things that really drive you? I think it's great to dig into that. And I think that sometimes pain is very motivating. If you dwell on the things that are not bringing you joy and say, if I do this, this is going to alleviate that. You know, this is going to help me spend more time with my family, help give me the financial security that I want. I'm going to be able to help people that, you know, I wouldn't be able to help. You know, those people need you, your family needs you. And a lot of those pains are going to go away if you grab that success and don't pay attention to those fears.
Exactly. I really like that. That's really powerful. Now the one more question I have for you is, so one of the goals of this podcast is to learn like how you automate your network marketing business. So how do you, like, what's just one example of how you automate your business? Like, it could be like getting new leads, it could be getting new customers, it could be, you know, staying in touch with your team, like I said, customer care, something that helps automate your business.
Right. I think that a lot of people in MLM, they forget to diversify. So it's very important to remember those customer emails, phone numbers, utilize everything that you have, utilize all those tools, you know, even mail, even a postcard, stuff like that. So utilize all those tools. But I actually am learning how to automate my business as well. And I know all these things that you can do, but it's just taking the time to implement them, right?
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, keep going.
Yeah, I do have a landing page. I have a website of my own. So not just my store site, but I do have a website where people can go and they can learn more about me, and they can sign up on my team, or they can shop, things like that. So I do have like my own landing page. And so that kind of helps with, if I'm talking about the product naturally, I can send people to that. And it's an easy way to capture leads and be able to follow up with them later. Right. So if you are really busy, you might think about having that. It doesn't have to be a website, but just some way that you can follow up with that person later. It can be your messenger link. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be totally a free tool, but just having that available to you is very important. And then I also use Project Broadcast.
Oh, yes. I just started learning about that.
Yes, it's a texting service and it's really amazing. I was very hesitant at first. I actually used ManyChat, but ManyChat, because Facebook makes so much changes, that it's very different now. But I was hesitant to get into Project Broadcast because I thought it was going to be really hard to learn. However, they have tutorials right in the app that you can watch, and they're super easy. They only take like a few minutes. I honestly learned how to use the whole thing in probably about an hour or so. So that is nothing.
That's nothing.
To impact, because text is so powerful and people are a lot of times shy to text. I think as long as you're not sending one every day, you're fine. You know what I mean? And a lot of people appreciate it. They're like, oh, thank you for letting me know. Or they're like, oh, not right now. So it's very, very powerful. And then, of course, email is still king, because if something happened and all these social media platforms went away, you still have those emails and you could potentially reach out to people that way. So,
and that's a really good point that you brought up. And I was talking to somebody else, and they were saying, like, you know, as a network marketer, you don't actually own any of like your contacts. Like if somebody buys something on their website, that their contact is in the company. So it's really important to still gather all of your customers, your leads and stuff, all of their information, whether it's a phone number through Project Broadcast or an email, like their email through some kind of email service. So then you can build your own list, and then you can have, like, I don't want to say control, but like you have your own contact list that you can continually market to them and keep bringing in sales and stuff like that. So it's, again, like we said earlier, just taking ownership of your own business, which is something super important.
Right. And with Facebook events, I mean, a lot of people in the MLM industry, they call them parties.
Yes.
So maybe you're doing parties. It's really great to get those contact information right away. So if you are doing Facebook parties, or if you're doing any other kind of events, you could even use Zoom, right? But you want to collect that contact information before the event happens, because then if they ignore your Facebook stuff, or if they ignore other things, you can reach out to them that way, whatever way you decide. If whether it's email or text, you can reach out to them and say, hey, thanks for joining the event. Please, is there any way I can help you? Were you able to find everything okay? And just make sure that they were able to see everything, because they get busy and distracted, right? Maybe they really did want to shop, but it just skipped their mind because they're so busy.
Correct. Right? I find that at 90% of the case, it's not that they just don't want to show up. It's just like life happens and they forget, or some kind of event happens, the kid throws up, or the car has a flat tire or something, and life just happens and they just forget. And exactly. It's so funny because we automatically think, oh, they didn't want to like show up, like, you know, it's us, right. It's us. But honestly, that is like never the real truth. It's honestly them, and just life happens. So
absolutely. So if you don't have like an email service thing and you want to start taking those contact information, definitely look into, putting that into your Facebook group questions if you're using Facebook group for events, or you can have a jot form where they fill it out, and then once they submit it, it takes them to the event page. So it's almost like a registration.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it'll capture their info, and then it will send them to wherever the event is. So you can have it, anywhere you want it. Really.
Now, Project Broadcast is only text messaging, correct?
Project Broadcast is only text messaging.
Okay, that's what
I know. There's so many different platforms.
Because I did the same thing you did. I was on ManyChats for a while, and then with all the Facebook updates, and it's like, no, now you can't send it to like people like you hadn't talked with in the last 24 hours, and I was like, well, that sucks.
Exactly. Yeah, the only thing is that Project Broadcast, you can have somebody text you a keyword.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, you give them your number, you say, text this number, text party to this number. And, then you can send them the link through there. You can send them the event link through there, or you can send them other information. They'll get signed up automatically
That's awesome.
that way. Yeah.
Now, do you use primarily Project Broadcast for like lead generation, or do you also use it to like stay communicated with your team?
I do all those things.
Yeah.
So
I figured it's such a great platform.
Exactly. Everything I was doing with ManyChat, I like to do with Project Broadcast. Mm-hmm. So I'll follow up with customers. I will notify the team of events that are happening. I will, if somebody's interested in my business, I'll be like, okay, text this word to my number and I will send you a free info sheet, or I'll send you a video or something like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I really love and talk with you. I do have
really, yeah.
I have one more question for you.
Really helpful. I definitely recommend it to anybody. Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry, say that one more time. It got like real robotic on me.
Yes, it's kind of cutting out a little bit. I was just saying, just Project Broadcast is a great tool.
Now, one more question, and now this is another aim of the podcast, is just to just be real with people. And so, what's something that you're struggling with right now, and how are you working through it, or getting over it, or fixing it?
Right. I think that everyone is a little nervous about Facebook and all the different changes that are going on. And so, and I am too. I'm nervous a little bit, but I am definitely ramping up collecting that info, because I haven't always been as good as other people. Another thing that I kind of struggle with is recruiting consistently, because I will do a big event and I'll have a ton of people join my team. And it will be overwhelming for me because I have to train those people, right? I have to get those people, in the system. And we have a system to train people, but it's just giving that personal touch to my team it can be a struggle with juggling all the other things. And so what I am doing right now in order to solve that is to come up with my own kind of coaching system where I have some videos for them so they can do those in lieu of me always having to reach out to them and contact them. So they can get to know me. They can get to know kind of my philosophy through those videos, just kind of like a welcome to Janine kind of thing, right? Like, this is how Janine works. And so I'm kind of trying to automate that side of my business more with the recruiting and everything like that. So I am putting my presentation in a landing page type thing where they can sign up and then they can get access to the video that shows them what this is all about and how they can do it too. And then it has like a little button where they go to fill out a survey about how interested they are and kind of what they can bring to the team, almost like an application.
That's awesome.
And then I can reach out to them. Right. So I'm trying to get better about automation and just how can I utilize my time the wisest.
Yeah.
Right.
The hardest part for me, especially with just automating, is like I'm an impatient person, so I like want it to happen and I want it to happen now. Like, it's like, okay, I want that system. Can I have it like by the end of the day? And I'm learning that there's a whole lot of learning curves that comes with just owning your own business, as well as just, trying to automate a system or the network marketing, something that's not really automated. Like you're kind of just making it up as you go along, the best system that you know how to make. So, in that is just like kind of giving yourself grace and just being, oh, it's okay to make mistakes. Like, it's not going to be perfect the whole time, and it might take longer than you expect, and that's okay too. Just, just give yourself grace and still love yourself and be like, you know what, you're doing it. It might take longer, but that's okay. You're still doing it.
Right. Yeah. And everything you do you can share with your team. So you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for everybody who is in your business, really. So just think of it like that. Like, yeah, you do have to there's work. I mean, people think that they're going to join something and they're going to make money right away. And really everything that you do, you have to work. But if you stick it out, if you continue to put in the work and you don't quit, at one point you'll start feeling that momentum and it will start to grow. And then that's when you explode. Now, a lot of people, they quit right before that explosion. And it's really sad to see. Right?
That's very true.
So many times, if you are consistent, you will have that success. Because I've been wanting to get into YouTube more and kind of, take some of the things that I've done on Facebook and take them off and put them on YouTube. And I've heard that from so many YouTubers. They're like, yeah, for the first, few years, I was just talking to nobody. But then all of a sudden, it was like it caught on and it just took off. And so that happens so many times in business. Oh, am I cutting out?
No, you're good. You're good. It happens all the time. And we kind of we feel like we are doing it, nothing's happening. You're like, you get to the point and you're like, why? And then you're just like, you know what? Like, it's not going to hurt me if I just keep doing it. So you just keep doing it. And then at some point, like, all of a sudden, it's kind of like you have to earn your way to success. And then it just happens. It just happens. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it.
Exactly. And, it also has to do with trust, I think.
Yeah.
Because people, so many times you see it all over and over. They get into a business and then you see them hopping out and doing something different. And so if you are consistent, people trust you more and they say, oh, they're the real deal. This is what they're doing. This is them. It starts to become a part of you. Oh, you're interested in that. Hey, I know somebody who does that, or I know somebody, right? And they'll start referring people to you because you're the person. You've been doing it so long. And so it has that trust factor as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the most important things in business is to build trust with people, because there are so many people, like, they're just in the culture, like, people have a hard time trusting businesses and people that they don't really know. And the more you're out there, the more you put content out there, the more you build that relationship with your customer, the more they're going to trust you. And that is really what's the most important thing, is building the relationship and the trust with your customers. Because, and this is from my own personal experience, if I love something and I have somebody that I know I can trust, I'm going to refer so many people to you, it's not even funny. Right. But with that said, the opposite is also true. So if I don't trust you, if I think I'm being manipulated, then I will tell as many people as I can not to do business with you as well.
Right. And I think it goes back to what I said in the very beginning about sharing your story, about being your unique self. When you do that, when you're vulnerable, people trust you more. Yeah. Because they see, oh, this is a real person. This is not just like some company or some, scam or some, pop-up thing, right? This is a real deal. And so I've had people in my Facebook group who have been there for a year and they have not purchased. They have not done anything. But then finally something clicks and they're like, oh, this is for real. This is awesome. I want to be a part of it also. I want to be a part of her story. And so that really is really cool to see. And it takes time. Time.
There's a lot of nurturing involved, a lot of taking care of, and all of a sudden it just happens. So right. Janine, I really appreciate you being on this podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I would just say that, you just want to utilize, I really hope that everyone gets from this, utilize all the tools that are in your toolbox. Whatever you have inside of you, all the skills, all of the history, utilize all of it. It doesn't matter if it relates to your business or not. Share it. For example, I'm in the children's space, right? So the business side, when I share it, it doesn't necessarily relate to my audience, but they love to listen to it. They love to hear it. And then people come out of the woodworks and just, reach out to me. And so utilize all of the things that you have in your toolbox. Don't be afraid to share all those things.
Oh, I love that. That's such a beautiful message.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Janine. It's been a pleasure. And so we will see you next time on the Big Money MLM
Thank you.
podcast. Bye.